Amazing historical events that occurred on March 1st. On March 1, 1382, the Maillotin Uprising in France occurred. 1579, British explorer Francis Drake captured a Spanish treasure ship. 1692, Sarah Goode and others were arrested as witches in Salem, Massachusetts. 1867, Howard University was chartered and Yellowstone National Park as world's first national park. In 1382, the Maillotin Uprising in France, citizens rose up against oppressive taxes. The Maillotin Uprising was a popular uprising in 1583 against military and religious authorities in the province of Normandy, France. The main grievances of the people involved were taxation and religious reforms imposed by King Henri III. The rebellion lasted over 2 months, during which time several towns throughout the region refused to pay their taxes and rose up against royal authority. The rebellion began when some peasants in the town of Maillotin refused to pay their unfair tax burden and called for an open assembly at the local church. This act led to similar protests across the province as other communities voiced their discontent with the taxing regime. The rebels sought to return to feudalism, abolish all new laws, remove all foreign powers from control, and restore religious freedom by abolishing recent church decrees that had infringed upon traditional worship practices. In reaction to this revolt, King Henri III sent an army of 800 men to quell the uprising. This force proceeded systematically through each area that had revolted, burning buildings, confiscating goods, and taking hostages in an attempt to break rebel morale. Despite this initial success, representatives from 22 towns met in Rouen and drafted a petition demanding that all oppressive taxes be abolished or lowered. In 1579, British admiral and explorer Francis Drake captured the Spanish treasure ship Nuestra Señora de la Concepción. Francis Drake captured Nuestra Señora de la Concepción in 1578 during his circumnavigation of the globe. He had left Plymouth, England, in December of 1577 with 5 ships and 160 men. He stopped off at the port of Cádiz in southern Spain, where he took on supplies and met with Spanish representatives. When they sailed away from the port, they encountered Nuestra Señora de la Concepción, a Spanish galleon carrying a large amount of cargo, including silk and silver bullion. Drake and his crew successfully seized the vessel by boarding it and overpowering the crew. They were able to keep nearly all of the valuable cargo for themselves and returned to England with a substantial financial gain. In 1692, Sarah Goode, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba were arrested in Salem, Massachusetts on charges of witchcraft. The Salem witch trials, which took place in 1692, were a series of court hearings and prosecutions of people suspected of witchcraft in the colonial Massachusetts. The trials began as accusations of sorcery brought against 3 women by young girls in the town. As investigations and examinations continued, more than 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft, mainly women, many of whom confessed to being involved in the dark arts. Eventually 19 people were convicted and executed by hanging, while an additional 5 died in prison due to harsh conditions. A number of other accused witches were freed when their charges were dismissed or they escaped captivity. The motives behind the Salem witch trials are widely debated and contested among historians to this day. One line of thought is that it was a result of religious fervor combined with fear and insecurity towards outsiders or black magic practitioners, as well as socio-economic rivalries between powerful families in Salem Village at the time. Researchers have also suggested that mass hysteria may have been a contributing factor, along with false confessions from those who had been coerced into admitting guilt under threat or torture. Whatever was at the root cause, these events remain one of America's most shameful chapters from its colonial history. In 1867, Howard University in Washington, D.C. was chartered. Howard University was founded in 1867 by Civil War veteran General Oliver O. Howard, a devoted Christian who sought to create a university that would emphasize both classical education and the Christian religion. General Howard envisioned an institution with the capacity to promote and nurture the intellectual promise of students from diverse backgrounds regardless of race or gender. Thus, he founded Howard University as an institution of higher education for African Americans. Since its founding, Howard University has served as a beacon of hope for many generations of African American students who have gone on to make significant contributions to our nation's history, culture, and progress. From decorated civil rights activists like Thurgood Marshall and Jesse Jackson to some of the most influential leaders in politics, business, and science such as Dr. David Satcher and Majora Carter, the impact of Howard University has been felt around the world. In addition to its renowned faculty and alumni, Howard University has also been home to some of the most innovative programs offered anywhere. Such initiatives include the Middle States Accreditation Program, which helps ensure educational excellence, the Institute for Physical Activity and Sports Science, which researches physical activity-related issues, the School of Business, which boosts entrepreneurship efforts through its unique LEAD program. In 1872, Yellowstone National Park became the world's first official national park. The establishment of Yellowstone National Park as world's first national park on March 1, 1872, is a remarkable event in history. This was the first nationally protected area established by the United States and has since become a model for conservation worldwide. Yellowstone National Park covers more than 3,500 square miles of land in Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. It contains spectacular natural features such as rugged mountains, deep valleys, hot springs, waterfalls, and geysers like Old Faithful, which make it one of the most popular tourist attractions in America. Preservationists campaigned for many years to protect the area from development and exploitation of its resources. Finally, under the Ulysses S. Grant administration, Congress recognized the singularly unique value of preserving the area and passed a bill to establish Yellowstone as a national park. Since then, Yellowstone has gone through various transformations to protect its natural beauty and wildlife while still allowing millions of people who visit each year to enjoy its grandeur. The Park Service has also implemented a variety of regulations over time aimed at limiting human impacts on its ecosystems while still encouraging responsible use of resources by visitors. Today, Yellowstone remains one of America's greatest treasures, with millions visiting each year to marvel at. March 1st has been a day of incredible significance in the history of the world. It was on this day that citizens of France rose up to fight oppressive taxes. British explorer Francis Drake captured the Spanish treasure ship Sarah Goode, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba were arrested in Salem, Massachusetts on charges of witchcraft. Howard University was chartered, and Yellowstone National Park was declared the world's first official national park. All of these amazing historical events that occurred on this day have shaped and molded the world we live in today.